Hello, this is William McKissock with Scully Mitchell, your expense reduction consultant. And if you watch my videos regular, you know we're an expense reduction consulting company. We're not a marketing company, but we love to promote other businesses and organizations on social media. And today I have with me a very special guest. I have Roger Germain. He is with the Florida Aquarium. He's the CEO. And welcome to the show, Roger.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
An absolute pleasure. So, before we get into the Florida Aquarium and some of the fantastic work that you guys do, tell us a little bit about who Roger is and how you came to be here right now.
Sure. So I'm a South Side Chicago kid, grown up in kind of the hard scrabble world, blue collar world, and grew, again in the city, one of the great cities. Got a degree in journalism and a minor in political science. Started off in television, made my way into kind of politics and government. Decided that the sharks at City Hall in Chicago didn't bite as bad as are a bit worse than the sharks at the Shed Aquarium.
Yeah.
And in 2000, went over to the Shed Aquarium, one of the preeminent aquariums in the world in Chicago. Eventually worked my way up to that number 2 slot. And then in 2017, had an opportunity to come here to Tampa and be the CEO of the Florida Aquarium.
Fantastic. But it's nice to, I like the analogy about the sharks. That's
Oh, yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about the Florida Aquarium. Obviously, people have been to aquariums where they see fish swimming about in tanks and stuff like that. So we both know there's a lot more to that. So tell us a little bit about like what you're doing as an organization to help the environment and help the species out in the wild that you look after.
Yeah, you're exactly right, William. Look, above the surface, everybody has fun, right? You see animals, you get to come and spend the day, make those memories. But what is truly below the surfaces, which is, what you're having us dive into here this morning. And organizations like the Florida Aquarium, we want to be that cool science teacher and we want to have impact. So there's some really amazing things we do here at the Florida Aquarium. We're one of the preeminent coral rescue research scientific organizations in the world. Literally, about 2 weeks ago, we just announced that the IUCN, so the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, the largest global organization dedicated to preserving nature, just dedicated us as the only coral species survival center in the world. So
Wow.
right here in Tampa and the Florida Aquarium, you wouldn't think about, right? What does an aquarium do? We're now going to help be able to orchestrate a global response to coral reefs, whether you're in our backyard at the Florida Reef Track or whether you're, in the Great Barrier Reef or anywhere around the world. So that's just some of the cool things we do here, from mangrove planting to sea turtle rescue to coral and everything in between. Conservation is literally, truly in everything that we do here beyond all the other stuff we do for education and community.
Yeah, it makes us feel a little bit small at School of Metro because we plant a tree for every client we sign, but every little piece counts. But I was blown away when I met you at the University of Florida Lift event. And that's why I wanted to interview you because I wanted to kind of get this out to the forefront. So we talked about the environmental impact, which is amazing, but people can support this by coming along and having fun. And by coming to the aquarium, just by paying the entry fee and coming in the door, you're contributing to this organization and what you're trying to do in the world. So tell us a little bit more about that and how people can support.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I mean, look, I think when you come to saving nature, the environment, we ultimately save ourselves. But sometimes, especially in this day and age, it can either be too politicized, it can either be too scientific, too black and white, right at the end of the day. But you're exactly right. We are about having fun. So come on down to the Florida Aquarium, come in and have fun. We've got 20,000 animals here, everything from sharks to seahorses and lemurs and otters. But a portion of every ticket that is sold goes towards our conservation programs, our learning programs, our education, and our community programs. And the impact that we have on kind of our community and the world is pretty amazing. So yeah, come have some fun, make some memories, and enjoy a chocolate shake or ice cream cone and buy a plushie. All of that goes to making the world a better place.
Yeah. And kind of as a kind of tail end of this is a very short interview. Tell us a little bit more. You mentioned the education. Can you tell us a little bit more about the educational part? People coming along, having fun and learning, but you do a lot more. You go much more deeper into the whole education part to help people understand what's happening with the environment.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Kind of being that cool science teacher, right? So you've got the formal and informal. So you can do everything from field trips to homeschool events here at the Florida Aquarium. You could take some more formal deep dive, right? You know, who's creating those STEM curriculum? I mean, we have one of the best STEM programs in the world with underwater robotics, like real technical, or biology, where you're dissecting, a squid and learning about it. So, it's just there's just a lot here to do, again, informally and formally, on an education component. But you should be learning all along the way, even on a visit. We have these little learning moments that happen all the time because we're all in it together, as we say at the end of the day. So healthy oceans is healthy people. How do we have some fun? How do we save the world collectively together?
Fantastic. So if you want to have fun and help the environment, go to the Florida Aquarium. Roger's details underneath his portion of the video, the website, the link there. You can go to the website, buy tickets. It's really easy. So one other aspect about where you guys are situated that I wanted to kind of highlight is the fact you're right next to the cruise terminals. So you're kind of right in the heart of like one of the fun capitals of Tampa. Can you tell us a little bit about that whole, do you work with the cruise ships? Do you get people coming from cruise ships on and off the cruise ships visiting the aquarium, or is that something you'd like to promote?
Yeah, no, we do get folks who do come on the cruise ships. They come to Tampa. It's a great place to be. We can always use more, right? We want to make sure folks get a chance when they come here. They just don't get on the boat and off. And so, places like the Florida Aquarium give a lot of options. I would argue that, not argue, but I would say, right, to anybody who comes on a cruise, I mean, the Florida Aquarium is one of the most unique, vibrant aquariums in the world. You don't get these everywhere, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's only about 49 here in the United States, and you think globally, it's not a lot. So
Yeah.
when you come to Tampa, whether you're on a cruise, whether you're coming to visit, you just come on to the Florida Aquarium, check out one of the best aquariums in the world, and also, you're help supporting a great cause as well.
Yeah, one of the reason I mentioned the cruise ships, etc., because you think of the environmental impact cruising has. If you feel conscientious and you want to give some back, come and visit the aquarium before you go your cruise or after you go your cruise, and you've given back in a very meaningful way.
Great point. No, absolutely, great point.
Well, Roger, thank you very much for coming on. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. It's an amazing organisation that you work with, and I really, really trust you and believe and love everything that you're doing with your organisation and helping the environment. For me, that's the biggest piece. It's you can have fun, but you're actually doing some real good in the world.
No, I agree. Look, thank you for having me on, and I am going to thank you for something you said earlier. Thank you for always planting a tree, right, when at the right times, because again, we're all in this together. We can do small parts and big parts. So thank you for having me on again, and for what you're doing to help protect the environment and nature.
Okay, thank you very much, Roger. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
I'll now hand it over to Dave for the weather.